Hi, young kids. It's Katie. It's great to see you. Today, we're going to talk about the prophet Daniel and how he had a reputation of strength. After completing this message, you will learn that consistently living a pure and holy life builds a strong and godly reputation. Today, we're going to talk about behavior, choices, Daniel, of course, and reputation. So the memory verse of today is Proverbs 20:11. Even children are known by the way they act, whether they conduct what is pure and what is right. Let's read that again. Even children are known by how they act, whether they conduct what is pure and what is right. So that means that people know you by the actions that you perform. Now, today we're going to ask you, what does reputation mean? Does anybody know? Does anybody know what reputation means? Really means how people see you and think about you, and how your friends see you at school if you will be doing something that you're not supposed to be doing. So let me read the book of Daniel, 1 verse 1 through 21. In the third year of the reign of Jeroboam, king of Judea, Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came to Jerusalem to seize it. And the Lord delivered the king of Judah into his hand, along with some of the articles of the temple of God. These he carried off to the temple of his God to Babylonia and put in the treasure house of his God. The king ordered chief of his courts to bring into the king's service some Israelites from the royal family and nobility, young men without any defect, handsome and smart, quick to understand, that would serve in the king's palace. He was to teach them the language and the literature of the Babylonians. The king assigned them a daily amount of food and wine from the king's table. They were to be trained for 3 years, and after that they were to enter the king's service. But Daniel, oh, wait a second. Among those were chosen from Judea, these men. Daniel was one of them, and the chief official gave them new names. Daniel became Belshazzar, and the other three became Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. But Daniel resolved not to defile himself by the royal food and wine. He asked permission to be assigned his own food and drink. But the king's servant said, "Well, I'm afraid that the Lord my king, who assigned your food and drink, he will say, 'Why does he look worse off than the other men?' The king would have my head because of you." Then Daniel said to the guard of the chief of Israel, to appoint over Daniel Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, "Please test your servant for 10 days. Give us nothing but vegetables to eat and water to drink. Then compare our appearance with that of the young men who eat royal food and treat themselves to the food that you're saying." So he agreed to test them for 10 days. At the end of the 10 days, the Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego and Daniel looked healthier and better nourished than any of the young men who ate the royal food. So the guard took away the choice food and the wine and gave the other men vegetables instead. To these 4 young men, God gave knowledge and understanding of all kinds, and literature and learning. Daniel could understand visions and dreams of all kinds. And at the end of that time set by the king to bring them into his service, the chief official presented them to Nebuchadnezzar. The king talked with them and found none of them equal to Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. So they entered the king's service, and every manner of wisdom and understanding about the king questioned them about it, and he found them 10 times better than all the other musicians in the whole kingdom. So David remained there the first year of King Cyrus. Why did the servant want Daniel and his companions to eat the king's food? What did he think? He thought that if they ate the wine and the meat, that they would be strong and healthy like the others. But because he didn't want to eat and drink anything unclean, what did Daniel ask if he could be served? I'll give you a hint. Carrots is one of them. Right? Vegetables and water. How did Daniel prove that he and his companion didn't need to eat the king's food? After 10 days, they were tested and they were stronger and looked better than those that ate the king's food. How was Daniel rewarded for having a strong reputation as one who honors God? What did the king say? He said that he was knowledgeable and gave him wisdom and he was allowed to serve before the king. In Daniel's time, certain foods were considered unclean and forbidden. What kind of things do we have in our life today that might be considered unclean or unforbidden? Conclude these lessons with the following thought. A reputation is built on doing what is better over and over again. So this is all about your reputation and to be a strong Christian man or woman of God, okay? Have a great week. Bye-bye.